Greetings, Keechlings. Keechin Prime here with my review of One Piece Chapter 913, Suru Repays a Favor. Uh, it starts with the cover story, which I assume is probably going to be the second to last, if not the last, of the Orlumbus cover story arc. And it's 5 p.m. A grateful farewell pirate debut was a failure. Yeah, they're just leaving now, so it's been 30 minutes since the last one. So he's like, oh, yeah, whatever. He's been more developed in this than I think the whole duration of Dressrosa that he was a part of. Anyway, the chapter proper starts with Hawkins like questioning Luffy, like running around, willy-nilly in a country that's controlled by Kaido, basically. So it's like, you can't just do this, man. And he's like, oh, yeah. It's like, it's Kaido who's running this place, so it's like, I come to beat him. And Zoro's like, Kinemon told you not to say stuff like that. And it's like, oh, well, never mind. I didn't say anything. We see Thomas still sick, obviously. I mean, no time has passed. Hawkins pulls out his tarot cards and he predicts like they have 19% chance of living 1 month from now. So, and Zoro like gets this like looking over, and it's like, hey Luffy, that sword, can I see it? Where'd you get that? And it's like, oh, this thing? And it's like, oh, I found it. But he, like, Zoro really wanted to just examine it, and Luffy was not having it. But then they ended up getting attacked anyway, so it really... when is Zoro going to get his hands on the Nidai? I'll never know. But it's not this chapter. So the fight breaks out. Luffy shows his decorum as a swordsman and just throws the scabbard. Zoro's like, what the hell are you doing that? He's like, oh, I'm gonna cut him down with my sword. And then all he does is just a Gomu Gomu pistol with the sword in his hand, which I think he did cut one guy. So he punches one in the face, cuts another. So unintentional swordsmanship. And one of those lizard ostrich things, I wish they had a name so I wouldn't call them something different every time, but Oda has not presented us with such. Well, anyway, he comes in, tries to bite Luffy, he dodged it, and it's like, oh, it's attacking me now. So he just grabs it by the head and just throws it. Which kind of becomes funny with what happens next. We see Hawkins and he pulls out his sword. It is covered in straw, which... we'll get to why that is a bit more in a minute. The showing off his devil fruit powers, obviously. He uses the technique straw helping hand sword and pierces the thing, stopping it in its tracks, apparently, which I still haven't figured out how you just stop the momentum of that. And Luffy's like, what kind of sword is that? And it's like, and also that poor lizard. And it's like, Luffy, you threw it, hypocrite. Zoro's cutting down, like 2 or 3 of the, I think it was just 2 in their lizard, the cannon fodder characters, and actually gets a hit on Hawkins, which predictions from, I think only Tekking made it, but that Hawkins would actually end up using like the little like voodoo dolls, which, let's see, I have it pulled up over here to what they're actually called. Just straw man? Yes, they're just straw man. Simple. I would have called them voodoo dolls or straw voodoo. Nah, that's stupid. So yeah, him like not getting any damage was most likely going to happen. And I do like kind of the development of how his powers, like we see some variants of it here and there, But anyway, he shows that off. Luffy's never seen it. Only Kizaru and I think some other Marines saw it. So obviously Zoro and Luffy are like, what did he just do? Why isn't he hurt? And for some reason, I thought Hawkins was a smart guy, but then he goes to explain his powers as he starts forming an effigy. Or not, well, I think it's technically still an effigy, but it might be what's known as the Devil Conquering phase. It's a variant of the one we saw him using against Kizaru, where it was himself turning into the Scarecrow, but now he's just making it out of his sword. And it's finally revealed what his devil fruit. It's the Straw, or the Wara. You know, it's like Luffy's straw hat. I guess I don't ever hear the Japanese of it spelled or pronounced enough, so I always mess it up. So I'll just say straw. He explains how he doesn't receive damage because the lives reside inside of him, those little dolls and stuff, and how they're connected to a person based on, voodoo doll principles. And he summons this thing, and it's like the straw man, and it's like, okay, the game begins. But he's like, I'm not a fool, so I'm not going to fight you honestly, which, you were a pirate. Why would you have fought honestly in the first place? But I still don't... Some of his dialogue was kind of off. Like, why would he say that at all? But, also, how many people were with him? I'm looking at the bottom of this panel, and I'm seeing more and more people. I mean, unless Luffy and Zoro didn't, actually just completely take them out where they were unconscious. But still, how are there this many left? But, so they're just like, some came out of the sword. Zoro actually licks his own, which I did not notice that until my second reading. So it's like, oh, game? What are you talking about? And then the first tarot card is produced, and it is the Fool. And it's reversed, which apparently just means internal discord, which actually caused his own men to attack each other, taking out another one of his dolls. So he's like, sorry about that, guys. The next one will be a good one, I promise. I hope so. Heart of the cards. But yeah, then he mentions the greater the risk, the greater the benefits he'll get, because it'll allow him to surpass his limits. Apparently, I still some of his terms. I don't know if I'm just not getting it or not. But so while they're just kind of dumbfounded by it, the Kuma Inu, which I think is Chiyoyan or something like that, it picked up on danger. It's like, oh god, I gotta get these idiots out of here. So it goes and picks Luffy and Zoro up, and they're like, come on, dog, what you doing? And one of the henchmen's like, Master Hawkins, you think we should pursue them? And it's like, they're getting away. And it's like, no, they're not, but we got a great card this time. It's the Hierophant, and it's reversed, which means Card of Retribution. And the giant straw man, now with a sword club looking thing, is bearing down on them, and good lord, that thing had gotten big, I think, from the last time we saw it. It's it's bearing down on them, and Zoro blocks its attack, and he even mentions that it seems to be pretty powerful. So if Zoro notices it, then it has to be true. And it shows off an ability that we've never seen him use before, unless it was maybe in canon filler when he fought Kizaru. It can shoot nails like Frankie's Master Nail from before the time skip. I don't think he's used it since. So while Luffy was protecting Tama, Zoro's fighting off the straw man, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to take it out. Niguri Turo Samon. Or Samon. I mispronounce everything. It's two-cutter, climbing tower, and sand drawing. I don't get the sand drawing part. The climbing tower, I remember that move. Anyway, so cuts the thing right in half. Hawkins don't look too happy because, he did get some damage, but it was reflected onto another guy. So he's only got like 10 of those dolls. So, yeah, he's steadily running out. And they're like, what do we do now, master? And he's like, the Hierophant. I've drawn it again. The support card, apparently. I even looked up the Hierophant to see like what it represents in Terra, and I couldn't find anything. I'll have to keep researching that. But like now the Straw Hats are going to get an ally, apparently, and it's revealed that woman that Zoro had saved last chapter, which everyone predicted that she was going to play a part in it. I didn't think about it. I mean, if you didn't see her face, I kind of wouldn't have figured anything other than that. But I really need to start looking into things more. But she was hiding in Cheon's tail, and they were like, "Lady, where'd you come from?" It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like I came, I want to repay the favor. The green one over there saved my life. My name is Suru, which this is all based on the title. And she's like, "Oh, is that Tama?" It's like, "Oh no." It's like, "Is she hurt?" It's like, "Yeah." And then she realizes she's been poisoned, and it's like, they're like, "Yeah, we're taking her to a doctor." And it's like, "No, don't take her to a doctor. Take her to my tea house." Which we do get to see the tea house, so they're just like, we're not going to sit around sipping tea. She needs medical treatment. It's like, no, there's a medical herb that you can boil and drink with your tea and stuff, and it's the best antidote for this type of poison, which I'm assuming has happened a lot for them to be aware of this. Which then makes me wonder, is the toxic substance something that's native to Wano? Which might explain why Kaido set up shop there in the first place, if it's something used in like Smile production or whatever. And then she's like, "Oh, also to repay my the favor," I was like, "I'll heal your wounds, my green lord." And I thought that was hilarious because Zoro's pulling out nails. God, that must hurt. So Luffy's on board. We see the tea house, and also one thing about Suru, if you look in her hair, the little hairpin that she has looks at least like part of the Kozuki clan symbol. That was something I also saw in my second read through. Anyway, Wano Country, Kuru, Rundown Town. I don't know if that's its official name or not. Welcome to Rundown Town. I'm sure it's meant to just say, "Oh, it's a rundown town." But anyway, someone is badgering one of the waitresses there. We don't actually know it's a waitress at first, but this guy just like, "Oh, come on, Osaku." It's like, "Come marry me and you'll be able to eat all you want, because guess what? This place sucks. It's all polluted and everything." She's like, "Oh, we're from different worlds and it just wouldn't work out. So if you don't have an order, can you please get the fuck out?" But so he just kind of like, "Yeah, I wouldn't eat stuff from here." And it's like, "But hey, I guess you don't even know who I am." So it's like, I'm the famous Yokozuna from the capital. It's like, "I'm the finest sumo wrestler in all of Wano, Urashima." Which I was wondering if that was like a reference to an actual wrestler, and I couldn't find anything. Then it's revealed Osaku, she is the tea house poster girl, which I should have looked that up. I may put something in post. Anyway, you've got Luffy and group are inbound, and she's like, "Oh, hey." It's like, "Osaku, get the tea ready. We've got a young one who's in trouble." And it's like, oh dear, I'll do that right away. In the final chapter on a certain mountain, it could have just said on a mountain. Um, we have Beppo and the two other guys. I'm going to look their names up real quick. Yeah, just take a second. I wish I could edit this out, but I suck at that. Sachi and Penguin. Okay, I thought one of them was Penguin, but and also some like they saw the Straw Hats and was, oh, it's them. It's like, should we go and get them before they cause a fuss? And it was like, and this was Beppo talking, and it was like, Sachi was like, you would stand out too much. Which, to be honest, why is Beppo even changing clothes? You know, to blend in, because he's obviously never going to blend in. But I like that he tries. And he even has, like, they all have custom robes, which just shows how long they've been in Wano. Like, Beppo's actually has, like, little fish around the Heart Pirates logo, so, or Jolly Roger on his robing, so that was nice. I did like that little touch. The other two just have the general logo, so whatever. But they didn't want to be cool like Beppo. But so yeah, that's kind of where the chapter ends. It was all right. I overall enjoyed like the whole Hawkins bit more than probably anything, but who wouldn't? And then so you had a fight and then set up leading into more allies, which is fine. We need allies, and we're just learning more about people that are probably loyal to the Kozuki clan as a whole, which is great, because they're going to need followers, because it's just a small group right now. Probably more people that Kinemon was mentioning, like his allies and supporters and stuff, so I'd say probably that. So we'll probably meet more, and that Urashima guy, he's probably working with the Shogun or Kaido or both. I mean, if he's always been in Wano, that's the Shogun thing, but then he was talking about the plantations, so that could be either one. So unless it was mentioned, let me double check that so I don't look like a total idiot. And I went right past it. Yeah, he just says plantation. Overall, I'll bump it up to a 4. I gave it a 3.5 in my live reaction, mostly because I guess the second half just... Overall, I think it was that, like, the two predictions of what people were saying, like, maybe my headcanon kind of messed with me in a way. Like, oh, yeah, that'll probably happen. So then the hype kind of died a little. So, yeah, sorry about that. But, that's about all I have to really say. I really didn't have much to say about this chapter other than a recap. Sorry about that. No yokai. I love the yokai. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at KeishanPrime, and I'll see you next time. Keishlings, roll out.